Grand Prix, it's a win for George Russell.
Claiming victory in the 24 hours of Le Mans Virtual.
Is going to go back to back and he steals the win.
It's Mercedes on top. Williams grabbed the victory in the 2023 iRacing 24 hours.
Here in the Infinity Arena because we have the second round of the Formula One esports.
Williams win the Autosport Team Invitational.
Damn, boy! Damn, boy!
AT500 RRT team, congratulations!
Yeah, the experience it's amazing. Like the atmosphere of this track is unique, and it's my first time in a 24 hours of Nürburgring.
Being with AMD as well, seeing some of the cars, it's been a really good experience. So.
Winner of the aviation 2023 is Williams Razor.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 6 hours of Le Mans here for Williams Gaming Club. My name is Adam Thursby. I will be one of your hosts today for this fantastic 6-hour event. Joining me in the booth to cover this, my partner in crime, the man, the myth, the data legend himself, Mr. Philip Milwee. We are going to be here for the entirety of this race and qualifying first, of course. But again, I want to welcome everyone in on this Saturday, and I hope wherever you are, you're having a great day. Phil, thank you for joining me today, man. It's always good to have you around.
Thank you for inviting me to this show. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be watching a race here at this historic venue, and getting to see these car classes out on track is going to be really exciting.
Absolutely. Multi-class racing today at Le Mans. We've got GTP and GT3 cars on track. I just can't wait. You and I have talked about it already, how I love multi-class racing. The addition of that extra traffic that you're going to have to play with as a driver makes this a lot of fun. And this being a 6-hour event, most of these teams are teams. There are multiple drivers going to have to be in and out of the car. Pit strategy is going to come into play. And Le Mans being such a long track, even with Le Mans being such a long track, over 13 kilometers, I have a feeling with the speed differential, we're going to see these cars get mixed up pretty quickly, right?
Yes, that is definitely the case. We're currently looking at roughly about a 34-second delta between the fastest in each class. It's going to be exciting to watch. The speed differential is going to be pretty big.
100%. And again, a long track, very famous track, Circuit de la Sarthe. The real 24-hour Le Mans here, of course, the in real world one goes on here. And we're getting just a snippet of that today, but I don't think there's going to be any less excitement than the real life one, except up front. We have a few Porsches out there. There you have your starting grid up and ready to go as we walk through this. Caruana stepping back through. Trying to see, you can see these times here where the spread here is amazing to me. 1.2 seconds between Bubsy and Caruana in P1 and 2. That seems like a lot for qualifying. Even on a circuit this long, that seems like a lot.
Well, I think Paul has maybe some pace in hand from qualifying. I mean, he got into a 3:18 in free practice. Mm-hmm. He was almost 2 seconds ahead of the Team Bandit entry. I think Paul has got some pace in hand for this race. And again, when you start getting down to the field and you start getting to the GT3 field, that is not the case at the front end of the GT3 field, for sure.
We shall see as this goes. The start of the race is typically pretty hectic. We will try and keep an eye on all of it here as this kicks off for the next 6 hours. Waiting for lights to go green for that pace car to head in. Again, not a full formation lap. Started just in front of Arnage. Head down through the S's, and we will get green flags. Now, I know from my experience with the LMDH cars, again, tire
would be very subpar to put it on pole and then run up into a disaster. So, if I'm leading GT3, I'm giving that faster car class as much track as I can afford.
Gotcha. And you see there on the screen, the gap's there, but it's not huge. We're splitting, we're starting split class, but it's not a gigantic gap between the two. Obviously, we don't have LMP2 cars here today. This is not an IMSA race or a WEC race, but I just wondered if they were going to be able to come together, and we are green, just like that.
So looking right now, it looks like Paul got off to a pretty good start, although that does look like Matt's going to try and force the issue on the inside.
And is able to take it. Matt Kawana jumping ahead, but he's going to be able to hold on to it. Bubsy fighting hard.
Yeah.
Louis Ricard there in the box. Motorsports Enduro car, number 420. Currently 15th. And once I get reloaded here, I'm trying to see how many spots down on the day that is for them here in these first 2 laps. So the lap 1 shenanigans we get through relatively unscathed, and we have a driver off there as Lewis gets out and around. That'll allow him to pick up a spot. But for the most part, again, lap 1 chicanery has calmed down a little bit. We're still going to get action, but we always stress in that first lap, right? But that said, things have taken a breath today, and hopefully what we're going to see now is these teams settling in, realizing, again, to your point, Phil, it's a 6-hour race. It is not
it's not a sprint.
It's not a 15-minute race. It's going to become a sprint race, right? We know that. We know it'll become a sprint race at some point. There's no doubt about that. But for now, to your point, we really should look and say, okay, it's an endurance. Let's settle in for the long haul here. Get comfortable in our seat. Sip your water so you don't run it up too quickly on yourself. And let's go from there. On the back end, come around the corner there. He's able to hold on to it. Yeah, just looking here real quick, that number 21 car, Ferrari of Team Turkey Sim Racing, actually jumped to the pits.
So again, GT3, a little bit tighter field.
Paul Busby working his way back up, down 7 spots right now. Was down at 1.9. And the 909 car now starting to move back up through the field, having gotten through.
It's going to be tough.
That's a little lenient if you're asking me.
Yeah, the difference maker here is that like within ACC, like really it only measures track cuts whenever there's time gained, whereas with iRacing, it's measuring incidents based on like touching other cars, going off track, not gaining time, that kind of thing. That's going to be I mean, to me, it doesn't matter to me one way or the other, because it's just going to make it more. Yep.
Has now taken up P2 in the Olympus Esports Titan car at number 40, getting around Alessandro Garrett. I told you that gap's closing. Now, the one thing that has happened is the gap to first has opened up. Matt Caruana now has a 3.2, 3.4 second lead out over Ridpath. So this is the gap now I want to watch close down. I was already, when Sophia got around Roca a little while ago, the gap was already there. It was already starting to shrink up to Garrett. Now we see what she can do as far as trying to catch the number 29 car. We know Caruana has pace, that's for sure. But looking best lap so far, Ridpath is a flat 324, and Caruana's run a 323.33. So he's got pace so far.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen averages or not, Phil, or if you've taken a look, but
averages are kind of in that phase where it's like you can look at them, but you're not really getting a real solid representation. Towards the end of the first stint, we're going to start to really understand what people's like stint pace is going to look like, and then probably just in time for them to switch drivers. And the 76 with Duncan Edward Jones, Photon Racing. They're still going. Yeah, they're still going toe to toe, and these LMDH drivers are just trying to find their way through.
Christini in the number 104 car able to gain a position over Garrison again. A little flipping back and forth as Zard. I'm going to go with it. Zardoz Racing. The Zardar Racing car of Christini. Now I have to ask, because someone in chat said La Rosa. I want to make sure I'm not losing my mind here. Is it Santo La Rosa and it's just La Roca in iRacing?
Maybe it is. I'm not sure. I mean, the data through like 3 different screens that I've been looking at says La Rosa or La Roca. So I'm going with that until someone tells me different.
We watch here as we watch Santo in the number 32. I want to thank everybody for being here with us today. You are here for 6 hours at Le Mans Williams Gaming Club. So much fun. They're doing a great job.
Oh, is that Sophia off track?
Yeah, Sophia dropping down very quickly.
A significant amount of time with a couple of moments on track.
I'm showing though, Tom, that number 22 car, the last lap, 3:23.38.
But Alessandro, to your point, last lap, a 3:29.171 for a lap time from Alessandro. Wow. Meanwhile, Sophia pumped in 3:26.559. So Alessandro's got his hands full.
Yeah, I see that difference here now. Wow, 3:29. What else was I was trying to see earlier? I thought there was
some wild times. We're looking at what is it? Last lap was a 3:24 from Paul, but we know he had that moment. He's trying to catch Caruana, who's got the 3:23.75 right now.
Sorry, I am 100% listening at the same time trying to look up other stuff, and I got very confused for a moment. So, just trying to see here.
That's where I start. It's my default state. Start it confused.
Start it confused.
Try and gather facts. See if we can go from there. But yeah, the field in terms of their pace have dropped off a lot from their fastest lap times and from what we're seeing from start of the race. Matt Caruana again running 3:23s right now. I'm interested to see when the effects in the background. Looks like the Unisem Racing entries struggling for pace a little bit. 3:26.43 last lap.
In-game time is 15:32. Are we going to get a little? Are we going to finish in the dark?
15:32. Let me take a look at the almanac to figure out when sunset is.
I'm just curious. Yeah. I'm just watching here. I noticed the sun appears to be getting low as we catch certain scenes around the track, and that's why I was just. And it is dated for November 30th. So I was just curious if it's going to drop off. Maybe we can finish this race in the dark.
5:09 p.m. was sunset.
Okay.
Now it's not nautical twilight, but but sunset at 5:09 p.m. So it could get a little dark on track. So yeah.
Well, with that said, sir, I am going to take a quick step away for a few minutes.
Sure thing. I'm just going to keep an eye on the action for the film with some fun facts.
You've got all the best facts. I will tell everyone that in this thing.
Yeah, for those that don't know, the first motor race, motor endurance race at this circuit happened 100 years ago this past May. And there were 36 entries total. 33 actually took the green flag and onto the Mulsanne Straight. Oh, here we go. Is this what happened? Oh, yeah, back end goes out into the wall. Managed to keep it from collecting cars, but the damage was done and then had to limp back to the pits with no rear downforce. As you can see, skittish into the gravel. Right before pit entry to finish what was the impetus.
Here we go, right here. Oh, wow. Had the front end of the car clipped by one of the LMDH cars. And yeah, you can see the back end going sideways as he tries to limp this back in. Like way sideways. Unbelievable.
So it's going to be cutting it close.
Right now, Harry Neal, the GTP class, under a little bit of pressure from Vito Grippa. Looks like Grippa wants to take the shot.
GT3 car taking the alternate line to let the LMDHs through. Will Green asking how we're doing. Adam, how you doing today? I'm doing great.
I'm doing fantastic.
Mr. Will Green in chat. Hope you're doing well, sir.
Will Green, Will Garrity. The Wills are such beauties. They really are.
So many Wills.
So many Wills.
Williams got the corner on the Wills. Who knew?
There it is. Vito Grippa is not quite taking the spot. He's moved up, but he's not owning it yet. And now he fully commits to the corner. Going to take over for Harry Neal in P11.
Will, G's, and James. Williams has the corner on him. Wonder if the way the positions are lined up in the organizational chart, it's like Will 1 now hiring for Will 2.
Well, does a James have to work for a Will or vice versa? Is there a rule? Is there a business rule written around that?
That might be a department.
Just
are you in the James department?
Gotcha. Harry Neal taking it back very quick from Vito Grippa as this battle continues in GTP class for P11. I feel like, and we just saw a similar corner. I feel what happens is Harry Neal just goes a little deep into the braking zone.
Yeah.
And it's what allows, you see him, he goes wide. It's what allows Vito to get ahead. Whoa, that is some driving right there. Yeah, there you go. Two James work on the same team. Will and other Will work on different teams.
Just a real quick check up at the front of the field, though. That gap at the front of LMDH has grown to almost 4.5 seconds.
See that. So Neal and Grippa have got to have. Let me come across here. No, Grippa. Last lap, Grippa almost a second and a half faster over Harry Neal. Oh, Harry Neal with some trouble there, way out into the gravel. And Vito Grippa going to take that spot with and get himself a 1 second gap out of for his trouble.
Will Brink 8 laps for Carvalho and 8 laps for Mizzou.
Gotcha. So soon, but not that soon.
Yeah, they're going to need about 4 to 5 more laps before we start seeing the next round of schedules.
It looks like... Oh, what did I do? I broke things for myself. Andrea Spati, the number 32 car.
Yep.
And David Vanderwals. Wouldn't mind seeing a 3rd place take right now. Olympus Esports Titan.
Yep. So both Andrea and Vanderwall have at least 1 stint under their belt. They're in their 2nd stint right now. Average lap times for Andrea, pretty good relative to Vanderwalls. Wondering if maybe a moment on track or something brought them a little bit closer together. But Vanderwalls is not running relatively close to his average lap times right now. It was almost a massive off for Exela. And
I was just curious how that was going to go, only because a 328 time in iRacing ACC, the one I know about coming up is next Friday. The final race of the Formula Ford 1600 Friday series. So much fun, reverse grid craziness that these guys put together, and I haven't driven it, I've watched it, and let me tell you, reverse grids are something to do. Like headlights are coming on slowly. I don't know if you heard it or not, Phil. I don't know, maybe if you shut it off before you came back, but I was saying, we had the weather up there a few moments ago. The temperatures have been amazingly steady today. It's
third. I mean, this is effectively a 3-way battle for the podium in GT3. Yeah. That is also pretty spicy.
It is. Looks like they spread out a little bit at this point, right? Paul Shaben kind of getting himself in a position where he's got that 1 second, a little bit of breathing room. Certainly is not going to be able to slow down though, and is going to have to maintain because those two are coming and running.
Yeah. One second, I mean, he probably wants to get a little bit more to really not have risk of pulling him into the draft, but Ricardo just can't seem to find his way around. And they are slowing up big time. I mean, their last laps were in the 4 minutes.
Oh, wow.
With Shaben being 3:59.
The battling will do that to you, though, right? I mean, it's gonna hammer you down, and it looks like
yet to see anybody blow the pit stop and get nailed with the drive-through yet.
Yeah.
So I'm actually or a stop go. So I'm actually kind of surprised I haven't seen that yet. That is something that out of desperation sometimes people will do if they go a little too long on the fuel tank. Mm-hmm. People will basically cut that chicane on pit entry, which you can do. You will get to the box. You also okay. Oh man. Into the road. Oh, he's high centered. Oh man, that is so unfortunate. Like, there's no way that curb is high enough to high center a car. Tops for the leaders in LMDH and 3 for the leaders in GT3. So we're probably going to look at 5, I think, for GT3 and 6, I think, for LMDH.
Yeah, because I mean, we're still at 2 hours and 45 minutes left in this race. Is signal seeing who's going to come out on top of this race. I have to say right now, Team Titan definitely the winners at this point of the race of the two Olympus esports teams. Christopher Stevenson behind the wheel of the number 37 for them. Only up 1 spot on the day, where number 40 car is up 6 for that team. And getting told in chat the number 76 car having problems with pedals.
That's unfortunate.
It is.
Doing a quick check, it does look like Drew Hopkins, and I believe that is Scott Darville coming together at the Ford chicane. And somebody must have missed a braking marker, looks like, if I had to guess. So Carmine chasing down the Williams Esports staff entry. 7/10.
Tom Roberts behind the wheel of that number 38 Williams Esports, and there it was, just like that. And now going to take up another spot for Carmine, getting past the pits here with Ethan Reed in the VGTR Esport car, number 18, sitting in the pits right now.
Unfortunate, but it looks like the Williams Esports staff car was able to keep it out of the fence, which is a wise decision. And then the question becomes, does Sophia stay in the car? Do they put in Caruana? Because if they don't put in Caruana, I really feel like Team Bandit is vulnerable.
Well, the interesting part is if I go back through Caruana's lap times for each of his stints, again, just talking about those averages, his first stint, 323.9, just under 324. Second stint, 324.1. Third stint, though, however, he brings it back down to a 322. A little on board with Santola Rocca as he chases down Excella Lewis.
Now we're headed to the insurance.
Looking for a podium right here in the number 32. RRT Simulate 44. Would love to, I'm sure, love nothing more than to get ahead and hold it for the rest of this race. A little less stress.
Just watching from the chopper cam distance on my side, it does seem like LaRocca has better command of the car right now than Excella. It does seem like Excella has a faster car in a straight line. Got a GT4 off track.
GT4?
Or excuse me, GT3.
Why'd
M4.
they park it over
M4.
there? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, they can't park there. Can't park there, mate.
Lewis and Roca now into traffic, each deciding to take a different route through it. Meanwhile, the GT3 drivers are sitting there crying as this battle plays out around them.
Yeah, it's interesting because it just seems like LaRocca's kind of like stuck. Well, now, oh, there he goes.
Not anymore, and he's able to outbrake Lewis into the chicane hard. Now who gets the launch, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Lewis has seemed to have trouble with the car on corner exit, but you can see in a straight line, he's just got so much more top end, it seems like, than LaRocca. He's on the defensive, getting ready for the second chicane.
Now, is that higher? Is that higher top end going to be due to less downforce, a lower downforce setup?
That, or he could be in attack mode. That's the other thing.
Okay.
He could have switched over into attack mode. That could be the other thing. But yeah, watching these guys, I just scrolled back and looked at the battle as it unfolded, kind of. Oh, and we got some more GT3 traffic showing up. But yeah, just looking back through them as they were like dealing with the GT3 traffic and stuff like that. Up until the point LaRocca got around him. These two are really... It seems like the cars are different in terms of speed on paper, but both drivers seem to be driving the machines effectively.
So, Phil, I want you to correct me if I'm wrong as we come into... I want to get down here into Indianapolis in these corners first. Is it me, and again, I want to see these, and I want to ask this as we watch it. It looks to me like LaRocca is outbraking Lewis
Yes.
every corner.
Yep.
Okay. Making sure I'm not losing my mind there.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's if he's dealing with an added downforce setup, he's going to stop. He's going to have a shorter braking distance.
Okay.
And because he's going to have more drag. Oh wow, what a move to get around that Ferrari. And here's the thing: we're looking at it, and it looks like super dramatic. And LaRocca could have been just cool as a cucumber, because if he's dealing with if he's got the added downforce, which you can see that Excella might not be dealing with that, because that wide exit definitely looked a little sketch. And I was saying this before through Porsche curves and stuff like that. It just seems like LaRocca's car is planted, whereas Excella seems to be sliding around the.
In here at Connor Eggett, the number 1 car, Truck Boys. Boys up 21 spots on the day.
At 21 spots.
Holy cow! What were you do? What did you feed yourself? What did you have for breakfast? Big old bowl of Wheaties.
Oh, interesting. Yes, sir.
Here it is. Musara fighting off Dean Perry in the AOE. Wow. EAO racing team.
Still got it wrong. EOA, but
EOA. I did get it wrong. That's yes. Okay, sorry. I wasn't.
But that said, so the thing is that these guys, that gap is closing up really quick relative to the RTT 666 car.
Yeah.
So Francisco Musara up 8 spots on the day, so big gains for him. Going to try and stay out in front of Dean A. Perry. Let's see if he can hold him up. I don't think so.
No.
It seems like Dean has got rocket fuel.
Nudged ahead, has the inside line, and it was just that quick.
I'm wondering if that's just look, are they off one another in terms of pit cycles? Not really. They're on the same pit strategy.
Number 30. Vito Grippa going to take over the number 666, just flowing out of the pits at this point.
So even if they do 2 51-minute stints back to back for the 30 car, they are 15 minutes short.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
So if
they're gonna need 2, they're gonna have to take 2 more.
Yeah, if Washington could have managed to push another 3 laps in the middle and turn that into a 12-lap stint, probably could have made it to where Marcos could have just punched into 2 stints in a row and then called there.
Team Bandit with some trouble heading into the pits.
Oh no.
Ryan Mikalev in that number 29 car. Looks like trouble here. So let's see what ends up happening though. The DHE Esport car, the number 22, only about 7 seconds back. So if we talk about somewhere that or a team that might need to be careful or make sure they're maintaining lap times.
Up where Marcos did a 39.8 in the box and then a 115. Right? 35 seconds.
Yeah. That
they're going to lose in pit lane travel, and Shaven is 30.10 behind. Take the number 9, the full tank. I mean, he's cruising right now. He is 42 seconds ahead of Shaven. A little under a minute from Craig Stewart in the EOA. Trying to maintain that minute gap on Mr. Yexley and the Williams Esports staff.
Poor Lewis getting upset with us.
So
with me, because I went and made fun of him, so that was my fault.
So RTT, Unisim Racing in the pits. Inside the 40-minute mark.
Matthias Tem in there, heading in now. So yeah, the Unisim Racing car and the, let's see, what am I looking at here? I'm missing, Janik Ruoff in the number 5 have both had their eighth stops.
Mm-hmm.
The number 666 car has had the 8th stop. So it's gonna be interesting to see where these stops start to happen, right? What happened to...
Man, I just really think that if I think Marcos is going to have to pit, and I think if he pits, he's cooked.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna. The good news story there is, if he has to pit, he's not going to lose third.
True. Yeah, with the incident that we saw just a little while ago.
With Wild James behind. Yes. A Wild James.
Spots. We're watching Andrea Spazzi right now, and just has got to be pushing. Not that you don't for an entire race, but we talked earlier. When does it become a sprint race? Well, now's the time, right? Van der Waals is right there.
Yeah,
he's right there.
Yeah,
I think Spazzi wants.
And Yannick's not that far behind. Yannick's like 3.5 seconds back. And they're navigating through the back marker traffic too, as well. So it's this is going to be the tough part of the race for them. Pressure's on.
It is. Check in. I wanted to see. So for those curious, and Phil, I need you to keep me honest here. Truck Boys, Connor Eggett. Those guys are running in 4th right now, right? Wilbrink. Yeah.
Yes, they are. Yep.
There goes Andrea Spazzi into the pits.
Yeah, he's got to. He's got no choice.
Final stop. We'll see how long he takes here. So obviously Yannick taking up P3 now. Mm-hmm. Back on track with a total time of 1. Santo La Roca takes over that car with a 1:10.
Yeah, so say 17 seconds off of a normal pit stop.
Yep.
And or just move around the track, waiting to find out what is going to be the outcome of this decision. Because if it came off for him, it would be a complete masterstroke. But I just really, my money's not there.
Yeah.
And to be honest, from the strategy perspective, the money might not have been there for them either. This might have been just we got to do something, or with like Carvalho like pitting in the middle, like it might have been like something that came. It's going to be interesting when this shift happens, because what's going to happen is if La Roca can find his way around Van der Waals. I'm wondering if he's going to immediately try to go back on the attack, or if he's going to immediately start focusing on Yannick. Because Yannick is now 12 laps in.
That gap now up to 104.
We are inside of 9 minutes, sir.
It's getting spicy.
It is definitely heating up.
Ricardo Mecking now opening that gap to 2.5 seconds in the GT3 class.
Ricardo is extending to 2.6 seconds.
Fellas, I don't want to alarm you. The Truck Boys are back on track. Coming out of the pits now for all the fans in the chat. 2 full laps up. I'm slightly disappointed in effect simulations today, I have to say.
Swole saying Thomas have to talk about this. Again, hats off to the AG guys. Completely had the strategy nailed.
Absolutely. On board with Santo La Roca right now in that number 32 car. as he tries to chase down van der Waals. He's running out of time. 1:40 left to go. Where are we on track?
Here, I can pull up the track map for you.
I'm looking at it right here. Just trying to see if they're going to make it around.
This is going to be the fight to watch all the way to the end. I mean, Marcos actually is still like really close to Ricardo. Like, I mean, he's 4 seconds back. Like, one mistake, and that podium changes. But
those races says they are on white flag.
So they're on white flag and they're coming to Porsche right now. Oh yeah, so they'll cross the line and
look at these guys chasing now. Every GT3 driver needs to clear a hole at this point as absolutely insanely quickly as possible, as these guys just chasing down the down. 0.3 of a second. We're gonna go hub to hub and a little nudge as Santa La Roca gets around David van der Waals right in the last lap, looking to take up P3 and get a podium out of this.
I mean, but I don't think it's over for them because the 909's behind them. Yeah, there's the 909 now getting ready to take checkers. The De La Roca and van der Waals still have to finish this lap.
So they get the bonus lap today.
But man, ALM, dude, the FX Simulation 909 crew with Paul and Almeida, man, that was nuts.
And that is as it is wont to do.
He's still back there. He's
still back there, but now a 4-second gap. He's backed way off, and it's opening up quicker and quicker. And there they come across. Santa La Roca finishes out in third with van der Waals right behind him. Yannick will take second after that superb strategy, fooling even the master himself, Mr. Phil Milwee.
He did math better than me. It's a low bar.
Hey, I just didn't even do math. I just said, well, I think he's got it.
Yeah. Ricardo Mecking, QRT Esports. It's gonna.
Such great racing today. That was fantastic.
It was phenomenal racing today.
6 hours. So long.
And I think Scuderia Volpa is gonna come across in fourth, and Truck Boys is gonna come away with the top 5.
Able to get themselves back out there. That was fantastic. The saddest one for me, I think, was Team Bandit, because we did see some really awesome racing and battles with those guys, and then just get hung up. And then with that, I wanted to real quick just talk about one other thing I forgot to mention. Make sure you guys come back to watch the FF1600 on Friday. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Thank you to all the drivers for jumping on the track today. Thank you to the Truck Boys, who were obviously very popular. And again, just thank you to everybody for sticking with us and watching Phil and I today as we tried to just keep you folks entertained.